Hey, Laura J. 2 days away from the retreat where we are going to dive into Hiero's Prism. We're going to talk about the hegemonic priesthood and hourglass because it is our last chance to decide whether we want to say the glass is neither half full nor half empty. It's our glass. We can refill it. We just have to see that a course is sourced in a different order, and anything that is specified has been limited. And when we start to talk about limitations and we go into incorporations, well, then that's when we start to see the nation states that have made us think that our substance needs to conform to fit into the norms that will form us if we step into them and then try to comply our substance to conform with what others are doing in that group. The legal fiction is literally just a fiction that's legal. Simple as. There's nothing too sinister about that other than everything. But at the same time, the res publica is the public thing, or the public affair. And when we see that that's the foundation of the Republic, and then all of the founding fathers were simply men that got to lay claim to the first theory, as the founding father of the school of thought, that then others got to amend or change, but would have to say, oh, he said this first, and then I said this, as a result of cue, response, reward, routine. Creating a routine because of the reward we got from the response to the cue. So when we actually work backward, we see the cue of the hue in humanism as to how we've been piecemealed into parts and compartmentalized in this incorporated reality outside of us, when we actually have to see that the spark of reason is not the God spark within, is not the spark of the divine, the light within our eye, which is of 3, for we connect with the heart when we are in our inner eye, which is where the intuition is able to be seen as the tuition our soul paid ahead of time for us to be here without time as the actual experience we're experiencing in the now. Sure, memories can be documented and tracked along the timeline of our lives, which is the thread that we lead with the life that we have led up to this point. And from here, we get to see where we're going to spring forward and leave our mark in the stickiness of the web of interconnection that we are all part of, even though these interfaces and devices have become vices that make us believe in this fictitious illusion of separation. Well, this is a whole lot of information, as you can tell, and sure, your head might have swelled a little in hearing it, and just the that we do when we're experiencing or watching a machine short. But we're not machines, we just work for the machines. As the cogs in the machine, for it is the cognition that makes us believe in the machine that we empower by signing on its behalf of the public thing that we then get our identity from, just as the working class always have, because it's just the same pattern in a different package. You see, the label changes, the ingredients might be modified, but generally speaking, it's been the same classes, sex, and divisions or factions of people based on belief systems, which is crazy. And it's also magical, because what we have an opportunity to do now is literally create an improved culture where it says I'm proved right in the word. Not that we need confirmation the way the Vatican or Holy See, that is the unseen hand of the Nazis, of not seeing the plan, you see. It's insanity until we see the spells that have been cast with the words that have been used, and at last I dispel them, not because it is I, but because mine eye says, hey, I don't believe that's in the best interest of me or anyone that I know and love, and wouldn't want to have fall prey to that praetor, which is actually a status in Roman class of one who could impose hardships onto those under their rule. And that is where we see the praetors became the predators of the public thing, the public affair, the res publica, that made the republic seem more fair than the empire when both were just different arms of the same beast. It's going to be incredible. I look forward to sharing the experience with a few of those who are willing to dig deep, but I need your RSVP. If you haven't already, then I do need you to make your decision now, because that's all we've got. And by Friday at 6 p.m., when we meet at Soul's Path in the lodge for the opportunity to connect with others who are going deep into our identities to find all the entities that we've been feeding unconsciously, the experience of going through the major arcana of the tarot, through the Hiero's Prism, which is the hero's journey from a tyrant's perspective, and then the peasant's perspective, and then the vassal's perspective, and then seeing how we're just going back through the same cycles of samsara or suffering, which is the Sufi ring. I don't know what that means, but it's the second time I've said it, so it seems it would be important, and I remember looking it up before, and then I got away with it. So what's more is I'm going to say that in the day we level the playing field by going through the course and workshopping on all that has been purported in it. That's going to be our opportunity to actually get clear about where we haven't been able to hear the voice of our intuition because our head's been getting in the way. Our identities, anything we want to defend, we need to be willing to do so without being attached to that which we are defending, to the level that we will fight tooth and nail and actually attack someone else's character to defend an idea or concept that we have given our identity and energy to. It's insanity. Insanity is being insane. And when you're in sanity, then you can see the insanity around you, because we know what we are by what we are not. It is no measure of health to be well adjusted to a toxic environment. So it is time for us to clean up our act together as community members that are not part of any membership. We need to stop using all of the logos of logic to fly bands, brands, and banners that make us believe that we are separately pursuing different goals, when the truth is we all want the same thing under the surface, do we not? Peace in our hearts. Until we are broken into pieces outside of us, fractured and fragmented, divided by the hues of our belief system, for we then have to choose what we believe in, instead of saying, when I go to a buffet, I don't want to be forced to take everything that is in that buffet, because some of it will just absolutely turn my stomach and would make the rest of it unappealing. So if I would be forced to do everything that was on that buffet, I would choose to not go to that buffet, because I want to be able to choose for myself what works and what does not. And that's what we have an opportunity to do as we create a new grimoire of our own, which essentially is like the spell book that dispels the spells that previously captivated and captured us. And now we're actually writing the empowered version of that, which is essentially the best that we would offer to others. We're leaving that as a book we're assembling for ourselves, and others might benefit too, but we're doing it for you. As in, me, doing it for me, and you doing it for you. And then we have these books that we're proud to share with others because they benefited us, so that naturally they would benefit others too. What do you think? Want to be part of it? Get yourself in there, wink wink.